You're hungry, not very, just a little, and you open the app, the nearest restaurant, 30 minutes too long. You keep scrolling. 15 minutes, better. You order. You're bored, you open another app, a video, another one, another one. 15 minutes later, the food arrives. You have a question you don't know the answer to. You grab your phone, you type, the answer appears. Instant. You feel lonely. You open the app, you swipe, someone appears, you text them, and you know it. You can't wait for anything. When was the last time you waited for something? Really waited. Not 10 minutes, not 5. Days, weeks. When was the last time you wanted something and didn't get it instantly? Because now everything is instant. Food, entertainment, information, connection. You want something, you have it. You feel something, you soothe it. And you think that's progress. You think that's comfort. But it's not. It's something else. It's the erosion of your will. Every time you give in to the impulse, every time you don't wait, every time you choose the immediate over the important, you're training your mind to be weak. Because willpower is a muscle, and like any muscle, if you don't use it, it atrophies. And now you can't wait at a traffic light without looking at your phone. You can't stand in line without distracting yourself. You can't feel boredom without filling it. You can't feel hunger without soothing it. You can't feel loneliness without escaping it. You can't feel anything without immediately making it disappear. Think about that for a second. You can't even feel your own feelings anymore without instantly trying to make them go away. Uncomfortable, distract yourself. Anxious, scroll. Restless, order something. Anything to avoid sitting with the discomfort for even 5 minutes. And that has a cost. A cost you don't see because it's not immediate. It's not dramatic. It's slow. It's gradual. It's invisible. But it's there. The cost isn't the time, though you're losing that too. 3 hours a day on your phone, and that's 21 hours a week. That's over 1,000 hours a year. 1,000 hours of your life gone. But that's not even the real cost. The cost isn't the money, though you're spending that too. Delivery fees, subscriptions, impulse purchases, things you buy because you saw them and wanted them and couldn't wait, but that's not the real cost either. The real cost is your character. The real cost is who you're becoming. Because every time you give in to an impulse, you're becoming someone who gives in to impulses. Every time you choose comfort over discipline, you're becoming someone who chooses comfort over discipline. Every time you can't wait, you're becoming someone who can't wait. And that person, that version of you, is weak. Not weak in body, but weak in will. Weak where it matters most. Because strength isn't about how much you can lift or how fast you can run. Strength is about what you can resist. And you can't resist anything anymore. You can't resist the notification. You can't resist the craving. You can't resist the urge to check, to scroll, to order, to consume. You've trained yourself into a state of total responsiveness to every impulse that crosses your mind. You've become a slave to your own desires. And here's the thing. Those desires aren't even yours. They're manufactured. They're engineered. They're designed by people who studied psychology and neuroscience to figure out exactly how to make you want things, how to make you feel incomplete, how to make you reach for your phone. But you already know this. Everyone knows this. And yet you keep doing it because knowing isn't enough. Understanding the problem isn't enough. You need something more. So I'm asking you, who controls your impulses? You'll say it's the technology. You'll say it's the algorithm, the apps, the companies, the system. You'll say it's designed to trap you, designed to addict you, designed to take your attention and your time and your money. And you're right. It is designed for that, but that's not the problem. The problem isn't that instant gratification exists. The problem is that you can't resist it. Because here's the truth nobody wants to hear. The app doesn't force you. The algorithm doesn't control your hand. The notification doesn't make you open your phone. You do. You make that choice every single time. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking it doesn't feel like a choice. It feels automatic. It feels like a reflex. It feels like something that just happens. And you're right about that too. It has become automatic, but it became automatic because you trained it to be automatic. You reinforced it thousands of times until it became a pattern, until it became who you are. But here's what I'm telling you. You can untrain it. You can break the pattern. You can rebuild what you've destroyed. But first, you need to understand what you're actually dealing with. You think the problem is external. You think if you just deleted the apps, if you just got rid of the temptations, if you just removed yourself from the environment, you'd be fine. And maybe you would for a little while, but that's not strength. That's avoidance. That's not freedom. That's just a different kind of cage. Real freedom isn't about eliminating temptation. Real freedom is being able to face temptation and choose not to give in. Real freedom is feeling the impulse and not acting on it. Real freedom is being able to wait, but you've lost that freedom. You gave it away, impulse by impulse, click by click, year after year. And now you're a slave, not to technology, but to yourself, to your inability to sit with discomfort, to your inability to delay gratification, to your inability to control your own mind. And that is what we're going to change. Let me tell you what's really happening. Every time you feel an impulse and give in, you're reinforcing a neural pathway. Your brain is learning a pattern. It's learning that when you feel discomfort, you reach for relief. When you feel boredom, you reach for stimulation. When you feel hunger, you reach for immediate satisfaction. And your brain is very good at learning patterns. That's what it's designed to do. So it learns this pattern quickly and it reinforces it every time you repeat it, until eventually it's not even a conscious decision anymore. It's automatic. It's a reflex. Hunger appears, hand reaches for phone. Boredom appears, thumb starts scrolling. Discomfort appears, mind seeks escape. It happens so fast, you don't even notice you're doing it. The impulse and the action have merged into one, and you think this is just how you are. You think this is your personality, your nature, your weakness, but it's not. It's just a pattern you created, which means it's a pattern you can break. But breaking a pattern isn't easy, because every time you've reinforced it, you've made it stronger. You've carved a deeper groove in your brain. And now when the impulse comes, your mind automatically follows that groove. It takes the path of least resistance. It does what it's been trained to do. And here's what makes it worse. The more you give in, the weaker your resistance becomes, because willpower isn't just a metaphor. It's real. It's a mental resource. And like any resource, it can be depleted or strengthened depending on how you use it. Think of willpower as a muscle. And just like a physical muscle, it gets stronger when you use it and weaker when you don't. Every time you resist an impulse, you're exercising that muscle. Every time you give in, you're letting it atrophy. And right now, your willpower muscle is weak. Very weak, because you haven't been using it. You've been doing the opposite. You've been giving in to every impulse, every urge, every craving, every desire that crosses your mind for years, thousands of times. So now your capacity to resist is almost gone. You can't even resist the smallest impulse. You can't wait 30 minutes for food. You can't sit through 5 minutes of boredom. You can't spend 10 seconds with your own thoughts without reaching for distraction. And this is the real problem, not the technology, not the apps, not the environment. The problem is that you've systematically destroyed your own capacity for self-control. You've trained yourself to be weak. But here's the thing about muscles. They can be rebuilt. It doesn't matter how atrophied they are. It doesn't matter how long they've been unused. If you start using them again, they'll grow. Slowly at first, painfully even, but they'll grow. And the same is true for, your willpower. You can rebuild it. You can strengthen it. You can become someone who can resist. But you have to start using it. You have to start saying no to the impulses. Not all of them, not all at once, but some of them. The small ones, the ones that don't seem to matter. Because here's what most people don't understand. Willpower isn't built by resisting the big things. It's not built by some grand, heroic act of self-denial. It's built by resisting the small things, the tiny, insignificant, moment-by-moment impulses that nobody else even notices. The impulse to check your phone at a red light. That's where you build willpower. The impulse to order food when you could cook. That's where you build willpower. The impulse to fill every silence with noise. That's where you build willpower. These small moments, these tiny decisions, this is where your character is forged. Not in the big, dramatic moments, but in the small, invisible ones. The ones where nobody's watching. The ones where it doesn't seem to matter. Those are the ones that matter most. Because every time you resist a small impulse, you're sending a signal to your brain. You're telling it, I'm in control here. Not you, me. I decide what I do. I decide when I act. I have the power. And at first, your brain won't believe you. It's been running the show for so long. It's going to resist. It's going to push back. It's going to make the impulse stronger, more urgent, more uncomfortable. It's going to try to force you to give in. And that discomfort you feel, that restlessness, that craving, that's not a sign that something's wrong. That's a sign that something's right. That's a sign that you're training. That's a sign that the muscle is working, that it's being used, that it's getting stronger. Because strength isn't built in comfort. It's built in discomfort. It's built in resistance. It's built in the moments when you want to give in, but you don't. When you feel the pull, but you stand firm. When the impulse is screaming at you, but you wait. That's when you're building your citadel. That's when you're reclaiming your freedom. Not freedom to do whatever you want whenever you want it. Real freedom. The freedom to not need it. The freedom to feel the desire and not be controlled by it. The freedom to choose. And that choice, that capacity to wait, to resist, to say not now, that's the most valuable thing you have. That's your power. That's what makes you free. And nobody can take it from you. Nobody except you. And you've been giving it away for years, but you can take it back. Starting today, starting now. Not by changing everything, not by some massive overhaul of your life, but by changing one small thing. By resisting one small impulse, and then another, and then another. So here's what I'm proposing. Choose one impulse. Just one. The smallest one you can think of. Something so insignificant, it almost seems silly to even focus on it. Maybe it's the impulse to check your phone when you wake up. Maybe it's the impulse to order food instead of cooking. Maybe it's the impulse to fill silence with music or podcasts. Maybe it's the impulse to reach for your phone when you're waiting in line. One impulse. That's it. And today, when that impulse appears, don't act on it. Not right away. Wait. Just wait. 10 seconds. I'm not saying never do it. I'm not saying resist it forever. I'm just saying wait. 10 seconds. Feel the impulse. Notice it. Observe how it appears in your mind, how it pushes you, how it creates this sense of urgency, this discomfort. Just observe it and don't act. Count to 10. Slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And after 10 seconds, if you still want to do it, fine. Do it. No judgment. But you've won something. You've won 10 seconds of control. You've exercised the muscle. You've sent the signal, and tomorrow, do it again. Same impulse or a different one, doesn't matter. 10 seconds. Wait. Observe. Don't act. And the day after that. And the day after that. Because Here's the secret. Willpower isn't built with big decisions. It's not built with New Year's resolutions or dramatic life changes or grand commitments. It's built with small resistances, repeated again and again and again, every single day. And at first, 10 seconds is going to feel like forever. It's going to feel unbearable. You're going to feel this overwhelming urge to just give in, to just do it, to make the discomfort stop. And that's good. That means it's working. That means you're training something that hasn't been trained in a long time. Stay with it. Breathe through it. Let the discomfort be there. Because that discomfort is temporary. It peaks and then it fades. The impulse doesn't last forever. It feels like it will, but it won't. If you just wait, if you just sit with it, it passes. And when it passes, and you didn't give in, you've won. You've proven to yourself that you can resist, that you have control, that you're not a slave to every impulse that crosses your mind. And after a week of this, 10 seconds will start to feel easier. Not effortless, but easier. The muscle is getting stronger, and then you can extend it 20 seconds, 30, a minute, 5 minutes, an hour, or you can add another impulse. 2 small resistances a day, then 3. You're building momentum. You're rebuilding your capacity for self-control. You're becoming someone different. And in a few months, you'll look back and realize something. The impulse is still there. The desire is still there. But you're not controlled by it anymore. You can feel it, acknowledge it, and choose not to act. You're free. Not free from desire. That's not possible, and that's not the goal. Free from being controlled by desire. Free to choose. Free to wait. Free to act deliberately instead of reactively. That's real freedom. And that's what you're building. 1 10-second wait at a time. Because in the end, freedom isn't getting what you want when you want it. Freedom is not needing to get it. Freedom is being able to sit with the wanting without immediately trying to satisfy it. Discipline isn't about denying yourself pleasure. Discipline is about being able to choose when, to choose how, to choose if, to be the one in control, not your impulses, not your cravings, not your desires, you. And that choice, that capacity to wait, to resist, to say not now, that's your citadel, that's your fortress, that's the one thing that's truly yours. Your mind, your will, your ability to control your own responses. The world will always offer you instant gratification. It will always be there, designed to be more appealing, more accessible, more irresistible. That's not going to change. But you can change. You can become someone who doesn't need it, someone who can have it available and choose not to take it. That's strength, not the strength to avoid temptation, but the strength to face it and choose not to give in. Not because you're depriving yourself, but because you've decided it's not what you want right now. Because you're in control, and nobody can take that from you. The only person who can give away your freedom is you, and the only person who can take it back is you. So take it back, 1 impulse at a time, 1 10-second wait at a time. Starting today. That's your work. That's your path, and it starts now.